All right, fans, let's meet the starting 11 presented by Tire Factory. First, for the Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Starting in goal, number 70, Paolo Tardaghi. On defense, number 22, Christian Dean. Number 16, Johnny Leverone. Number 24, Carlisle Mitchell. And number 27, Ethan Sampson. At midfield, number 36, Bryce Alderson. Number 28, Gershon Kofi. Number 3, Sam Adekube. At forward, number 8, Matt Watson. Number 9, Kenny Miller. And number 17, Omar Salgado. Available substitutes for the Whitecaps include number 39, Nolan Worth. Number 11, Darren Maddox. Number 19, Eric Hurtado. Number 23, Kikuta Mane. Number 46, Adam Mena. Number 30, Ben Fisk. Number 25, Andre Lewis. Number 32, Marco Bustos. And number 51, Michael Kafari. And now, the starting 11 for the San Jose Earthquakes. In goal, number 18, John Bush. On defense, number 26, Brandon Barklage. Number 21, Jason Hernandez. Number 27, Joe Sophia. Number 20, Sean Francis. At midfield, number 17, Sam Garza. Number 9, Kari Stevenson. Number 80, Jean-Baptiste Pirazzi. And number 23, Atiba Harris. At forward, number 32, Billy Schuler. And number 14, Adam Jean. Available substitutes for the Earthquakes. Number 1, David Bingham. Number 8, Chris Wondolowski. Number 81, Walter Martinez. Number 24, Stephen Leonard. Number 44, Clarence Goodson. Number 15, J.J. Comal. Number 7, Cornell Cato. Number 6, Shea Salinas. Number 13, Brian Meredith. Number 2, Ty Harden. Number 19, Freddie Braun. Number 11, Michael Fucito. Number 31, Billy Knudsen. And number 36, A.J. Corrado. officials and starting 11 for the Vancouver Whitecaps FC and the San Jose Earthquakes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as we play O Canada, followed by the Star Spangled Banner.
Providence Park. The Whitecaps all in their traditional white strip with the deep ocean blue trim and the Bell logo on the chest. And San Jose in their sparkling new kit, the royal blue and blacks with the white three-stripe shoulders, as the Whitecaps are defending right out of the gates, and Gershon Kofi will win a foul. As the Whitecaps are defending the north goal to our left, Paolo Tornaghi all in pink. John Bush, his opposite number, in a lime green and black getup. The referees, Yunus Marakci is the man in the middle. He's in red and black on the near side. Jeremy Hansen, Peter Balkunias on the far side. Tyler Ploger is the fourth official. I'll just give you the lineups one more time in case you're just joining us on whitecapsfc.com. Good to have you here along with our radio audience on Team 1410. It's Tornaghi in goal for the Whitecaps. From left to right, Dean, Leverone, Mitchell, and Sampson. Alderson and Kofi, the holding midfielders. Atakubi, Watson, and Miller, with Omar Salgado straight up front as Brandon Barklage smashes the ball into midfield. Bryce Alderson there with a little touchback to Johnny Leverone, and he swings the ball all the way to the near side for big Christian Dean. I make that Ethan Sampson, who plays it forward off and out past Watson. San Jose has John Bush in goal, the veteran, Brandon Barklage, Jason Hernandez, Joe Sofia, and Sean Francis at the back. Sam Garza, Kari Stevenson, Jean-Baptiste Pirazzi, and Atiba Harris, the former Whitecap in midfield. Billy Schuler, the lottery-winning pick in the offseason, up front alongside Adam John. As big Omar Salgado battling in the corner on the near side as we look down right at midfield with a good cross into the area and just past Kenny Miller, over and out for a goal kick to our right, but an excellent ball played in off the left foot of Omar Salgado. And Kenny Miller, wearing the armband, just needed to be about 2 inches taller, and he would have gotten on the end of that one. Yeah, 2 inches taller, just a little bit quicker to get into the box. He did do well to get the ball out to Omar Salgado, who won it, kept his composure, and did put a good ball in. But as you said, Pete, Kenny Miller just not able to get his head on it. Sam Atakubi going up for a header against Atiba Harris. And the Whitecaps come up with it as it's zipped forward and then off the heels of Barklage and out for a Whitecap throw. Sam Atakubi sprawled out on the far touchline. Brandon Barklage coming in from the New York Red Bulls. And as I mentioned in the pregame show, that opened up a space for Stephen Beitashour to move on. And the Whitecaps were only too happy to oblige as Sam Atakubi earns the Whitecaps a free kick opportunity now, 20 yards up and just off the far touchline. Yeah, we're 2.5 minutes in, and that's San Jose's fourth, I believe, foul conceded. This one will be a little bit more dangerous, the others in the Whitecaps half, and it will be Sam Atakubi himself who will take it. Left-footed player will whip a ball in swinging, low and hard, try and get it inside the goalkeeper and his back four. Two-man wall as Atakubi lifts it towards the penalty spot, reaching all over it for Leverone, and Omar Salgado just couldn't crash it in as Leverone had it just sitting there, and Omar Salgado gets up holding his face while John Bush drops the ball to the deck. And Hernandez will poke it forward for Stevenson and then get it back again below us, sending it forward looking for Adam John, but that's taken away, and Bryce Alderson plays it backwards to Carlisle Mitchell as the TNT international will play it back to his goalkeeper, and Paolo Tornaghi has his first touch for the Whitecaps as Leverone hands it off to Gershon Kofi. And then wider still as the ball is played into Omar Salgado, back to goal, trying to hold off his man, does well. And still keeping possession, Omar Salgado, before the ball is played all the way back to Bush. As we're into the 4th minute, scoreless, just underway the second double-header day of this Rose City Invitational. Peter Shad and David Norman, thrilled to have you with us, whether you're listening in on Team 1410 or watching us on whitecapsfc.com as the ball is thumped forward and Johnny Leverone steals that, crosses midfield, sprints ahead along the touchline, floats it into the middle of the park, and taken down by the chest. Beautifully done there by Jason Hernandez, and he'll get it forward, looking for Garza, as Sam Garza sprints into Whitecap territory to John, back to goal, slips it through for the forward Schuler, and then it's sent wide left and beautifully into the path of Francis, who floats it over the Whitecaps crossbar and out for a goal kick to our left. Sean Francis was with the Columbus Crew when the Whitecaps might have played him last there a couple of years ago at Crew Stadium. And it's a goal kick to our left. Yeah, good attack by San Jose, opening up this left-hand side. Poor tackle by
Ethan Sampson started that play. And now poor ball, his second of the game already by Bryce Alderson, knocking it right off the park.
And you said in our pregame show, a couple of the bubble guys really have to show in this game, and Bryce Alderson one of them. With the arrival of Matthias Laba, you'd think Gershon Kofi might be nervous with his salary as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was referring to with Gershon. Obviously a quality MLS player, not so much a bubble player, but a player that has to prove he's not a player that's coming here wanting to get in the squad or on the 18-man roster. He's a player that wants to play every single game. Has played the bulk of the games for the Whitecaps over the last 3 years, and certainly won't be happy sitting on the bench. This is his chance to prove he should play.
Francis to throw in 9 yards up in Whitecap territory. Big battle with John there from Sampson, and then a left-footed ball from Francis into the box. Good-looking ball too, headed back across. John was there, couldn't get his foot on it, and then it's slammed away, and the Whitecaps come out through Atakubi. Good first touch off the chest. Sprinting across midfield, Sam Atakubi. Looking forward, and then ran right into Barklage. Alderson almost won the ball back, but San Jose tidy up, get control, and Hernandez will play it to Francis, the number 20. Infield to Stevenson. Of course, we had a stint here with San Jose the previous 2 seasons before last year being with Real Salt Lake. And then back it goes and thumped into midfield off Sofia, actually, the youngster, Joe Sofia, 22-year-old from Mission Viejo, the same place that Jordan Harvey's from. And now it's Leverone to Carlisle Mitchell, and the Whitecaps will try to mount another attack.
And Stevenson, quality player, I think, Pete. I know Frank Yallop was very high on him when coaching him here a couple of years ago in San Jose. He said he was one of the most intelligent footballers he's ever met. And he's bounced around the league, but I think a good asset for any team in this league.
32 caps with Jamaica. You're no slouch if you kind of rack up that international career, as Sampson will battle a 1v1 with Garza before deferring backwards to Carlisle Mitchell, 15 yards inside his own territory. Alderson and Leverone go back and forth, and the Whitecaps enjoying a little spell of possession here, with Sampson looking forward for Salgado, but that ball is too heavy, and it's going to roll over the byline and out to our right in minute number 7 of a scoreless first half. The Whitecaps and San Jose will battle, of course, 3 times this season, twice in Vancouver and once in San Jose at the end of the year in October. The stadium won't be ready by then, unfortunately, but will be very close to being. And the Whitecaps have been very good against San Jose at home over their MLS career. As goalkeeper John Bush from Queens, New York, once played for Bob Lilly's Hershey Wildcats, as the Whitecaps win it back through Kofi, and then forward for Kenny Miller, back to goal, stretching out to try to get it through to Alderson. Does. He sends it wide left for Atakubi, 30 yards up into the feet of Salgado. Does he stay onside? He does. Reaching for it. Barklage trying to get it back. Salgado pings it across, and there's John Bush to snag it in mid-flight before rolling it to his left. And out of the back comes San Jose.
Good little flick to himself by Salgado. Lost control for a minute. Then he had a great little slide tackle effort, got up right away and won the ball, but couldn't find, I believe it was Matt Watson sneaking in at the back post there, couldn't quite find him with the cross, but good effort from Salgado.
Christian Dean, who wears number 22, and it fits pretty nicely across that very broad body of his. He is a beastly looking man, normally a center back, of course.
You could get 222.
You could get 222, maybe even 2,000, as the ball's played up the line for Matt Watson, then back to Ethan Sampson and into Gershon Kofi before taken over by Carlisle Mitchell, as he spreads the ball again to Dean. Rolls it up the line for Atakubi, and back to the left-sided defender Dean, into the feet of Alderson, who rolls his man before sending in Carlisle Mitchell. Then wide right for Ethan Sampson. Good first touch, running infield. Take over from Gershon Kofi. And Kofi then pokes it square for Sampson. Bulldozed by 3 San Jose Earthquakes. Back to Carlisle Mitchell. The Whitecaps happy to keep possession here.
And good possession, Pete. Nice and quick. 1 and 2 touch like we saw the other night from the more senior players, and they're trying to carry that on here again tonight.
Kofi, in the end, had his effort poked over the near side touchline and out, and that ended the Whitecap run of possession, as Francis looks for a target, picks out Sam Garza, the number 17, and he'll go backwards, as Sofia will play it to Hernandez. And then the first touch for Jean-Baptiste Perazzi, interesting story, who comes from the island of Ajaccio and played in Ligue 1 and a bit of Ligue 2 in France. And his manager at Ajaccio, Dave Norman,
the famous Vancouver Whitecap, Rudy Kroll.
Man.
What a career he had. Not quite as strong as managing careers. Struggled a little bit as a manager, bouncing around. Last gig before the current one in South Africa with the Pirates, Orlando Pirates. But what a player he was. 2 World Cups. Could ping a ball, Pete, 60 yards, landed on a dime.
And you wonder in this, the 40th anniversary season of the Whitecaps, whether or not Rudy Kroll might have picked up a phone call to come to Vancouver for some of the festivities over the course of the next 8 or so months as the ball is played back into San Jose territory. It's an anniversary for them as well. This is a classic rivalry going back to the NASL years. As Kari Stevenson with pressure from Kofi and Salgado. And then there's Pirazza, who turns with it nicely and finds an outlet in John, pokes it backwards nicely, and then the foul is called retroactively as John was pummeled over, and the referee will come over and maybe even have a word with Kenny Miller for that. Yunus Marakchi.
Miller's been lively. He's had a couple of tackles. He's buzzing around. We did see that on Sunday night as well when he came on. Very lively. You'd like to see that.
And playing in behind Omar Salgado, which is interesting. So Kenny's not the farthest striker forward. It's Omar Salgado who gets those duties.
And very much like Sunday night when he played in behind Maddox.
Nice little touch infield, and here's a break for San Jose as Barklage sends a right-footed ball all the way across Garza, just outside the Whitecaps 6. Sliding tackle from Sampson, gets it through. Here comes Barklage, and off the line, blocked away. Not sure who got that block between Tornaghi. It was Mitchell, I think.
Yep, big Carlo.
And that saved a goal for sure. 12th minute, best chance of the game to San Jose. Brandon Barklage zipping the ball in, and then cleared off the line before a foul stops play, and the Whitecaps get possession back.
Yeah, fantastic 1-2 down that right-hand side, and Barklage, experienced with New York Red Bulls, sent a fantastic ball into the box. Play continued on. He stayed on it, the right back, and ended up with a shot. But as you said, unfortunately for Whitecaps, Carlisle Mitchell taking up a good position behind Tornaghi and knocking it off the line.
You could say that Ethan Sampson might have dove in a little bit there that allowed that ball to come across as Salgado couldn't hold up. San Jose gets it back, and it's Kari Stevenson in his own half of midfield for the Earthquakes as he rolls it through John and then over to Billy Schuler. Plays it wide, but the ball ran past Sam Garza, who looks to the heavens. The Whitecaps will have a throw to our left, 15 yards up from the corner flag. That is moving a little bit in the corner here. Slight breeze in Portland. Pleasant afternoon, though. And still a game to come later on this evening with Portland battling Port Moore of Jamaica. The ball thumped forward by Gershon Kofi. Kept in below us by Francis. It just ran past Kenny Miller before sent forward by Sophia, and then Carlisle Mitchell went up for the header, and Adam John submarined him, and the Whitecaps will get a free kick. 2 players involved shaking hands, and the Whitecaps just get on with it.
Yeah, I don't think there was much in it. Jan, typical of a San Jose striker, big, strong lad up in the air, gives no quarter, doesn't ask for anything, and that time shaking hands and getting on with it.
Great ball from Atakubi to pick out Matt Watson. First touch was heavy. Second touch, I think, went off Matt Watson, and it is a San Jose throw-in, 15 yards up to our right. Francis to take, but just before that, Sam Atakubi with a nice little run, and then on the fly sent the ball beautifully in the path of Matt Watson, and now San Jose will have a throw-in in front of their own technical area. Mark Watson up off the bench, UBC grad, and a very honest player. Oxford, Watford, we can go down the list of teams that Waddy's played for, but a very well-respected Canadian footy soldier, if you will, playing overseas as San Jose has it back through Barklage.
And as hard as they come, by the way, Pete.
Yeah, no, a very
Mark
scary
Watson.
individual, one you wouldn't want to mess with, and they're tough over there in England. As Garza just couldn't keep it in, and that's poor. He got to the end of it and just could not keep that ball over the byline. It's a goal kick to our left for the Whitecaps here in minute 14.
Yeah, and he had to chase it down, but should have whipped it in with his left foot. Had 2 that both Jan and Tiba Harris, I think it was, were in the box waiting for a cross, as well as Kari Stevenson belting in. So sometimes we saw that the other night. You've just got to get the ball in the box and hope your strikers get in there.
Carlisle Mitchell swerves the ball out wide for Sampson, infield for Kofi. Evades 2 challenges before playing in Johnny Leveron, moving up from the back. Bryce Alderson gives it right back to the Honduran. And then it's Dean on his left foot, looking up the line, didn't see what he liked, and plays it back to Leveron. And now Carlisle Mitchell. as we've reached the quarter-hour mark, scoreless between these two MLS combatants. The ball is off a San Jose player, Hernandez, and out, and Omar Salgado will win the Whitecaps a throw, and Matt Watson leaving it for Ethan Sampson, who quickly throws it forward for Gershon Kofi, who's got a little pocket of space ahead of him. And then between three blue shirts, lost possession before Sampson plays it back into the path of Carlisle Mitchell.
And Carl Robinson will want to see Gershon Kofi play that quicker. A lot of times over the course of the seasons, Pete, the last 3 seasons, we've enjoyed it when Gershon spins and beats 2 or 3 guys there, but the methodologies this year, I think, are quicker play, get it in and out of your feet, fast, and keep the ball moving.
Francis into Whitecap territory, 25 yards out. Infield it goes for Pirazza, but that's stolen away by Watson, who quickly plays in Miller, who's dropped right off. And Miller now looking for an outlet, rolls it into the path of Omar Salgado, who manages to keep possession, tumbles over under Hernandez, gets pushed down, and the Whitecaps keep possession. Salgado gets up and gets on with it. Now it's Kofi once again on a good square ball. He thumps the ball directly between the 2 players on the left-hand side of the field, Dean and Atakubi, and it's a San Jose throw-in in the middle third opposite us.
So after a good start, we're touching on the 16th minute here. Whitecaps, I thought first 4 or 5 minutes looked lively getting on the ball. Now some errant passes, unforced errors, if you will. They need to keep better control of that ball, especially Bryce Alderson and Gershon Kofi in the middle of the park.
Dean gives it right to Kari Stevenson, pokes it ahead. Nice turn by the forward Schuler, edge of the penalty area, trying to backheel it through. A big jam of players at the edge of the Whitecaps penalty area before Paolo Tornaghi thumps the ball into touch right at midfield opposite side. And it's Barklage who throws in early. There's Atiba Harris back to Brandon Barklage from St. Louis and acquired in the re-entry draft as Hernandez looks for a way forward. He'll try to fight into that central defensive pairing that includes big Victor Bernardes, who just got called up for Honduras, and Clarence Goodson, who might get called up for the U.S. as the ball played into the Whitecaps penalty area past everybody. And Paolo Tornaghi, the 6'4" Italian, will roll to the deck, and it's Carlisle Mitchell. And then back from Sampson, and Mitchell will play it to the top of the box for Leverone. Difficult sometimes for the commentators and for the players when there's zero atmosphere in a park and it is a preseason soccer. Guaranteed that won't be the case on Saturday when the Whitecaps wrap things up against the Portland Timbers. As Sampson has it below us, up the line for Matt Watson, battling away with Francis, who got the better of Watson, but the Whitecaps do retrieve, and it's Mitchell into the middle third for Kofi. It's tough to break through that middle third right now.
And it really is. You're right. You took the words right out of my mouth. They're getting some decent possession in and around. It's zipping a little bit between the midfield and back 4. But now can they connect Kenny Miller? Can they connect Matt Watson, Omar Salgado, and get it into that middle and final third a little bit quicker?
As the throw in from Dean into the feet of Salgado, who tries to get around the corner on Barklage, does, then whips the ball into the penalty area. Watson couldn't get there before it's slammed into midfield, headed back by Dean, but right to Stevenson. Alderson then wins the follow-up, and Sampson will stab it forward, looking for Atakubi, who's tucked in field. But Kari Stevenson wins the header, and that's to the feet of Carlisle Mitchell, and he'll stroke it back to the goalkeeper, Tornaghi. And then Leverone will try to mount another challenge as Alderson will sidestep one, couldn't sidestep another, and Paolo Tornaghi gets the ball back again for the Whitecaps.
Well, Bryce has had the ball 3 or 4 times where he has not played quick enough, but I'll tell you one thing, he continues to look to get on it. He keeps showing, he keeps wanting the ball to desire it, and that's, you want to see that in a young player as well. You want to see him execute a little bit better, but you also want to see him keep getting on that ball and keep looking for it.
One of his biggest fans is sitting right below us, and Nick Dazovic, of course, another former Whitecap who would have managed Bryce had he not been injured for the qualification of the U20 World Cup, as the ball is floated forward, and here comes Omar Salgado, headed down by Sofia and retrieved by Hernandez. So San Jose remains in possession as they float the ball into midfield. Up goes Kofi, but the header was won there by Schuler, and then headed forward again. Omar Salgado with the chest down, but Stevenson knocks it away, and here comes Atiba Harris. Crossing midfield, 1v1 with Christian Dean over there, slips it past Atakubi, and then it's Barklage who has it dispossessed, and now perhaps the break's on the other way as Sam Atakubi is charging forward. He's got Salgado to his left and Kenny Miller there as well. Top of the area and cleared away easily into midfield as Pirazza was back defending from midfield, and San Jose will get possession back. but that was promising. And when Sam Adekubi goes charging forward, it's fun to watch because he has some pace, and certainly he's not shy in ability either.
No, a little different though, Pete, running from a winger's standpoint where you still got that guy to beat, as opposed to from a fullback coming up in support of your winger, getting around him when you've got a little bit more room to make that cross. That time he seemed a little bit lost once he ran up against the defender. But again, a learning experience for him. Good minutes in this environment for Sam Adekubi, regardless of where he plays, and looks like he'll get on again here.
As Kofi plays in Adekubi, who then defers to Alderson. Poked forward for Kofi, back to Alderson. Dean is to his left, but he opts to go backwards to Leverone. And Johnny will swing it near side for Ethan Sampson. Closed down right away by Garza. And then Carlisle Mitchell plays it right into the very broad chest of Kari Stevenson. And now Francis. Infield it goes to Pirazza. And then back to Francis. And backwards further as San Jose holds onto the ball for a few moments here. Through ball. Nicely picks out Schuler, who's turning in Whitecap territory. Defers backwards for Stevenson. Lays it on the path for Pirazza. And then forward nicely as it's stabbed ahead from Atiba Harris wide to Barklage, as San Jose has possession in Whitecap territory. Atiba Harris in a foot race now with Dean, but Dean has the step. Let's see how he manages this now as he's facing his own byline before sending it up the line nicely for Adekubi. Adekubi will try to turn Barklage, plays it backwards for Leverone, supporting into midfield. It goes off the head of Pirazza. And then the San Jose player stumbled at the worst time. Kenny Miller's able to pick up, and he'll switch play to Ethan Sampson nicely. And then Sampson into Gershon Kofi. Closed down by Stevenson, but picks out Matt Watson below us. And then forward for Salgado. I think Kenny Miller wanted a dummy played there, but there's the ball from Salgado looking for Watson, and Watson's on the chase here. And the Whitecaps will win the first corner of the match. It'll come in the near side. Minute number 22, just about halfway through the first 45 minutes. And still scoreless here at Providence Park, but a set-piece opportunity now from the near side for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, and Whitecaps' best quick counter of the game so far, winning the ball on literally in their left back spot. A good ball out by Kenny Miller. Couple of 1-2s, and all of a sudden Matt Watson's almost in down the right hand side. San Jose defender having to do well to get over. Now we'll see the prowess of young Sam Adekubi. Takes a lot of free kicks at the residency level, a lot of corner kicks at the residency level. Can he get some pace behind this one and get it into the box here?
Two hands in the air, left-footed delivery, thumps it into the heart of the area and straight into the hands of John Bush, who isn't the tallest goalkeeper. In fact, he's the smallest by quite a margin, but he sure makes up for it with athletic ability and work rate as the counterattack goes the other way quickly with Schuler in Whitecap territory, 20 yards up, and then into the middle of the park for Stevenson, who's got some room in front of him, shapes up, has a rip, and it hit the outside of his right boot, swerves into where the Timbers Army will be sitting within probably an hour and a half or so, and it's a goal kick to our left in minute number 23, and in fact we have passed the halfway mark here and still scoreless in the first of two on the second day of the Rose City Invitational, with Omar Salgado creeping forward and then into Dean and back to Salgado and then Gershon Kofi. Steps aside, John gets away with it as he had both John and Schuler right on him. He got away with that one as it's up the line now for Sampson. And then Kofi gets it back again. One touch with the left, out wide with the right. Adekubi on this near side now, picks out Kenny Miller. Miller holds up, tried to play it back to the overlapping Adekubi, but it's Stevenson who wins it back and plays it into the middle of the park. Schuler came back from up front to retrieve it, and then plays it out wide and almost lost it away from Sofia there, and the Whitecaps do get possession back through Leverone. As Johnny plays it to his left. Dean, thumping ball forward, flag goes up on Omar Salgado by quite a margin. He was 3 yards offside, and it'll be an indirect free kick about 25 yards up to our right.
Omar just getting in a little bit late, and I think where the Whitecaps have struggled a little bit here, Pete, is if you look at their two wide players, Matt Watson, who's not used to playing out wide, certainly not going to be an offensive threat out wide, and Sam Adekubi, they've actually switched from left. Adekubi's on the right now, Watson out on the left. Again, Adekubi, a player not used to playing a wide attacking position like that, and the balls are getting in wide, not too badly, but it's stopping there, and something they're going to have to address here.
Barklage goes backwards, and all the way backwards to John Bush now. 37 years of age, and still one of the hardest working players in training every single day. And the throw in for Joe Sophia, UCLA grad, 28th overall pick. And he'll leave the throw for Barklage. Started his career with DC United and hurls a long throw into Whitecap territory. John, nice touchdown. And away goes Sam Garza into the Whitecap penalty area. Left-footed ball. It wasn't a shot nor a cross. It goes out the other side. Dean has time to have a look and thumps it. Oh, bad ricochet right to Schuler in the box. Then for John, good sliding tackle away. And then a hammered effort by Piraza over the crossbar and out. It's a goal kick to our left, but the Whitecaps got away with one there on a bad ricochet after Sam Garza really misplayed that ball. I don't know if he was trying to shoot or if he was trying to lay it into somebody's path there.
He was trying to lay it in someone's path. It got away from him. That's his second cross like that. Quality player, though. I like Sam Garza. That time Christian Dean chasing it down on that left-hand side, and you can see the speed of thought and the speed of play. Difference between a college player and even players in this game here, not all full MLS players, but some real quality on the park. Just that little bit quicker, and that's what he's going to have to get into his game. He's got all the physical attributes, the technical attributes, but it's that quick thinking.
Great ball from Salgado, and it's Sam Adekubi in the penalty area. Squares up for Miller, and it's in there! What a great transition that started with a clearance from the goalkeeper Tornagi. Omar Salgado nicked in Sam Adekubi, and he played it into a path for Kenny Miller, who slammed it off the gloves of goalkeeper John Bush. The Whitecaps have the lead, minute number 27, and a great transition for the team in white. Whitecaps 1, San Jose 0.
Yeah, it was a good break. I think Salgado doing very, very well to lay in Adekubi. And at the right time, Adekubi just got his left shoulder in front of the defender chasing right at the edge of the box, so he couldn't tackle him. He couldn't afford to go down. Otherwise, he was going to give a penalty away. We see it there. Just tucked his left shoulder in. And I think as Miller hit that, it might have just deflected a little bit off of the San Jose defender's boot. Either way, it did squib over John Bush, and as you said, Whitecaps have I think at this stage, a deserved. Yes, it did actually hit the boot of Barklage coming across trying to block it, but good run into the box by Miller, good run by Adekubi, and also Salgado getting involved, playing Adekubi down the line.
Well, and then of course there was also the switching of the flanks between Watson and Adekubi, and Sam showed his acceleration there. You're right, did a great job holding off his defender, and the veteran Miller stuffs it away. The Whitecaps have the lead here, and with a win would set up a pretty good situation for themselves in a tournament context. Of course, this really isn't about a tournament, it's about getting players minutes and having perhaps one last
and
look.
Fitness.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Getting fit. As Sam Garza, who missed a chance just a few moments before the goal, it's cleared into midfield where Francis will retrieve. Infield to Stevenson, and then he pokes it backwards. And it's Hernandez who will go back to goalkeeper Bush. 28th minute, the goal coming in the 27th. Kenny Miller from Sam Adekubi, and you mentioned Omar Salgado's role in it. He had a really quick look and got that ball into the path of Adekubi as quickly as he could, and that was good decisive play from the Whitecaps' first ever draft pick, as Sophia switches play to Hernandez. Down off his chest, and then up the line it goes for Francis. Sam Adekubi with some jump in his step now. That'll be an exciting moment for him. Adam John gets past his man Leverone, and he's almost in the clear. Big save by Tornagi. The rebound. Atiba Harris couldn't get past Leverone, who digs it out of the turf. And then it's following up. Kerry Stevenson back to Garza. Great chance for the Earthquakes there. John slightly tackled, but does keep the ball. Then Stevenson into Schuler. And then Stevenson has to play it back into midfield, and it'll end on Jean-Baptiste Piraza, who got tumbled over. He'll get a free kick there after Matt Watson went in. So Piraza wins San Jose a free kick, but what a chance just before that, and Paulo Tornagi stretching out that big 6'4" frame to deny Adam John an equalizer.
Yeah, fantastic save, and that's typically how you see San Jose scoring a goal. Their striker bustling off a center back, as Big Jean did there. He got in clean, looked like he found his spot on that far side, trying to curl it around. But as you said, Pete, a very, very good save by Tornagi and showing his worth there.
Garza whips it in. Good ball in, too. It's loose. Oh, and it just couldn't get turned in by Schuler. And then the offside flag went up in any event, so it wouldn't have counted. The Whitecaps get the indirect free kick, but a great teasing ball in by Sam Garza.
Yeah, that's the balls you want whipped in. We've teased Sam Garza with 2 bad crosses already, both with his left foot, but that one with his right foot on the set piece, whipped in. See a lot of those going in the back stick. Now we're going to see Jan. Yeah, found his spot. Tornagi held his ground. I like that. And a fantastic tackle by Johnny Leveron to knock away the rebound.
And you have to wonder about Johnny Leveron's role and actually the breakaway to begin with. He mistimed his tackle, that's for sure, so he got away with one, and then he was the man who recovered as away comes San Jose once again. Big man, John, but he's weaving his way to the edge of the area. Good tackle there by Mitchell. It runs past, and Sam Garza is frustrated right now as he hasn't had a whole lot of joy just yet for the Earthquakes. As the ball is back to the midfield, where Hernandez plays it straight to the feet of Mitchell. Kofi lifts it forward, looking for Atakubi, but the offside flag is correctly up right below us and perfectly in line where Jeremy Hansen snapped that flag up, and it's quickly taken, but the Whitecaps will get it back through Bryce Alderson. Did well to win the ball, then find Gershon Kofi to his right for Kenny Miller as the goal scorer looks up. Overlapping is Sampson into the feet of Omar Salgado. Sampson floats it through, and it's Bryce Alderson in the penalty area. He does well to chest down, holds up deep in the corner now, trying to get away from his man as they bash away in the corner. Back to Salgado, digs it out of the turf, gets up to it, and then we'll probably just tap it backwards for Kofi and then back to Carlisle Mitchell as San Jose squeezes forward and narrows that midfield a little bit. Now Christian Dean on the opposite side. Dean. And he'll go all the way back to his goalkeeper, Tornagi.
And good composure, nothing wrong with that. Looked like they were going to break. It got stopped. And you have to say, Kenny Miller is all over the park, both offensively and defensively. He's worked hard defensively, but has been involved from many different areas. He's not just sitting in behind Salgado. We saw him on the right wing in that last interchange.
And it was just a week ago when Carl wasn't sure if Kenny was going to be available for the first MLS game of the season, and wouldn't you know it, Kenny Miller, the professional.
He knew exactly what he was doing. But he does look fit. He looks lively. Whether he's going to do that for 90 minutes and get through the game, and he's just won another ball fantastically.
And now it's Bryce Alderson in the circle, zips it out wide left. Sam Atakubi's gone back out to that left side, and Barklage will send it all the way back into the Whitecaps penalty area. We're in the 32nd, now 33rd minute. And you're listening to Whitecaps preseason soccer from Portland on Team 1410 and watching on whitecapsfc.com. Nice to have you here on a Wednesday night from the beautiful Rose City, which is such an easy city to fall in love with. You can walk everywhere. The stadium is gorgeous. The food here is excellent. And yes, there is some shopping occasionally here in this fine city in Oregon. As San Jose gets the ball back, nicely poked in square for Stevenson, chips it forward, looking for Schuler as he shapes up at the edge of the penalty area, then defers for Atiba Harris as the St. Kitts and Nevis international will leave it then. And it's Peraza for San Jose. Right-footed ball whipped in over everybody's head. Actually, a nice little glancing header down from Sampson right into the path of Matt Watson, who's now back out wide right as Watson lays it short for Miller. Spins, points, doesn't get what he wants, and goes backwards to Sampson into Gershon Kofi. And then Leverone up the line for Dean over on the far touchline, crossing into San Jose territory. Atakubi keeping possession for Leverone and then infield for Kofi. And he'll swing it wide right. And it's make that Sampson once again, who chips it forward. Matt Watson on the chase. Sean Francis will just watch that one go off and out for a throw-in 10 yards up to our right. Peter Shad and David Norman, thrilled to have you along here, no matter how you're finding us. And it's a coolish evening, 50 Fahrenheit, but perfect for the players. And they'll start to fill the stands up a little bit closer to Portland's kickoff with Portmore a little later on. Very quiet. It's not the greatest atmosphere, as I mentioned earlier, but this is what you have to deal with in the preseason. And like we mentioned, won't be a problem about that on Saturday at 5 o'clock when the two Cascadia rivals battle. Long through ball looking for Harris, and Tornagi will just watch that over the byline. Off and out it goes for a goal kick to our left.
Yeah, and at this stage, Peter, I don't think either one of the two coaches is really concerned about the atmosphere here tonight. They're focused on certain targets and goals that they've come in to achieve during this game. One of them for Whitecaps will be to get Kenny Miller some good, solid minutes and some fitness, and he's certainly doing that. And the other, of course, is to see how some of these young players react. How is Sam Adekubi going to react to playing well out of position? How is Gershon Kofi going to react? Can he win a spot? So they'll be looking at those types of things on both sides, and they won't be worried too much about the attendance right now.
Hernandez for San Jose. Nice ball to pick out Garza, who's in full flight, and 1v1 with Sampson to the byline. Sends it across. Nobody's there. Out the other side for Harris. He gets it right back in again. Flying header away from Mitchell. Only as far as Barklage. Short for Stevenson. Back for Piraza. And then wide right nicely for Harris on his right foot. 18 yards up. Swings it in. Leverone reaches out to pull that one down. And Bryce Alderson on an awkward bounce will touch backwards to Christian Dean. And the big number 22 will find Omar Salgado, who wins the header, can't get past his man Sofia, and San Jose will be back in possession on the near side with Francis, who sends it forward for Garza, and Garza with Sampson in tow, back to Hernandez, right left-footed ball forward over the head of Jean, and then a volley away from big Carlisle Mitchell. Sam Adekubi will chase this one down, but Sofia does find Atiba Harris on that far side, and then Piraza there to support, as it's floated into the chest of Schuler, won back by Kofi, and Alderson slips it in for Kenny Miller. Quickly wide left for Sam Adekubi into San Jose territory. Back for Bryce Alderson, turned back by Atiba Harris, and Alderson will square it up for Gershon Kofi. Then to the near side for Sampson. Away goes Matt Watson up the line. That's a good ball in the path of Watson. 1v1 with Francis in the corner. Off of Francis. Watson keeps going, wins the ball along the byline, floats it into the penalty area. He didn't drive it in, and
lazy ball in.
San Jose were able to clear it. That's too bad. If he had absolutely smashed that across, it could have gone anywhere. And then Gershon Kofi is fouled, and the Whitecaps will get a free kick about 12 yards inside San Jose territory, as Carl Robinson shows that he can still play. Fancy three-quarter length coat for the gaffer down there in the technical area.
And Watson just holding his hand up to Omar Salgado there to say sorry. He knew he should have had a better ball in there. He did well to get by his man, but not able to finalize that last ball and execute. And that's what's so important. And that's a difference, Pete, from doing it at this level and doing it at the top level.
Adekubi, early ball in and cleared away by Sofia, and then it's Brandon Barklage under the pressure from Watson, or Christian Dean actually, who stepped all the way up the park, and the ball is off and out on the far side for a Whitecap throw. So Vancouver leading by a goal to nil on the 26th minute tally from Kenny Miller. We're now in the 38th minute here, and back it goes from Leverone all the way to the goalkeeper Tornaghi. And he, of course, growing up in the Milan system, you have to know how to use your feet even as a goalkeeper there, and that's something that Carl Robinson really liked. We know that David Osted has been working on that diligently in the offseason. They want to keep the ball moving as John steals again. Good sliding tackle by Omar Salgado. Very clever as well from Leverone, who chips it to himself, finds Watson, back to Salgado. Whitecaps looking like they're in the mood, but then a giveaway from Watson. He's chasing to get it back, and Brandon Barklage under the duress from Matt Watson. And that forces Barklage to go backwards to Sofia. And then Piraza for San Jose slips it into Jean, back to goal. Now Salgado will chase that down again, but it is Francis who will take over for the Quakes. Through ball off the head of Sampson. Is that going to be a corner for San Jose? I think it will. And it's a corner, their first of the match, over to our left on the near side quadrant. And this is an area where San Jose has always been a handful with the big beasts that they have. Alan Gordon, Stephen Lenhart, Adam John, of course. And they'll have a couple of center backs in Goodson and Bernardes that they can throw into the penalty area as well. It's Garza to take, right-footed, minute 39. Slams it way up high, back post, punched away by Tornaghi. And that's a good thing because Schuler was there. Now it's Barklage on the other side. Backwards it goes to Francis. He steps up, zips in a left-footed ball, headed up by Schuler, and then Harris with a back flick onto the roof of the net, and a goal kick to our left. A little bit of danger there for the Whitecaps. They get away with it, and it's a goal kick as we now approach the 40th minute.
Yeah, and I think a little bit fortunate there. Whitecaps not clearing their lines quick enough, Peter. So when you knock that ball out and you get it out of the box on a corner kick, you've got to get your players up quickly, not running out crazily, but get them up quickly and organized. Now we've had a bad foul on that far left side on Johnny Leveron.
Adam John went in late, and you could hear Leveron shrieking from all the way over here as he tried to unleash a long ball. And Johnny's a tough customer too. He's not a flopper and a diver. So there's the first booking of the match, as Mr. Murakshi will put Adam John's name into his notebook. And of course the Whitecaps benefiting greatly from a refereeing decision against Portmore United, the sending off of the goalkeeper that left Portmore with 10 men.
He had to though, didn't he?
No way around it, as a nice little flick from Salgado looking for Miller, the goal scorer. As the ball is now chipped forward, Leveron gets his revenge on John by winning that header, and then a long ball played diagonally into Whitecap territory. And Tornaghi will come out of his 18-yard box, retrieve the ball, take it back in, and pick it up ahead of Sam Garza. And that was clever, and he'll get possession back for the Whitecaps.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And he dropped it, and John was flying in to try to win it back. And now the two wide players have switched sides again, and it's Atakubi coming up with the ball. Omar Salgado wanted it early, but it's into Kofi and then played into Hernandez, that is. Meanwhile, there's a San Jose player down. It's Francis, who got platooned a little bit there by Atakubi. I don't think Atakubi did anything wrong. He just went for the ball, and Francis fell awkwardly. And he's down on the park here in the 41st minute as we get near to halftime, and there will be some changes. Mark Watson did promise that he was going to put a second goalkeeper in, whether it's Bingham or Brian Meredith. We shall wait and see. They even have Billy Knutson in camp as well, so they've got a lot of goalkeepers, but we might see some other changes as well. And for the Whitecaps, they have lots of players to choose from as well. Darren Maddox is on the bench before he heads off to Jamaica. Eric Hurtado, Kakuta Mane, Adam Mena we expect to see. The Notre Dame grad who's had a very good camp. Ben Fisk, Andre Lewis, the Jamaican 7th overall pick. Marco Bustos, I bet you we're going to see Marco.
Love to see that.
And Michael Ghaffari will also be available to Carl Robinson. So we'll see how much Coach Robbo will tinker beyond 45 minutes.
Could Mane get the full second half? It'd be good to get him out for a good run.
Yeah, and then we'll expect
not just 20 minutes.
We'll expect to see a full-on MLS starting lineup by the time Saturday rolls around. And might Matthias Laba be in that lineup? We shall see. Of course, he'll be fit, having been with the Toronto FC preseason preparations. As Kofi does well to pick out Sampson, and he'll thump a right-footed ball swerving forward, and a desperation tackle from Hernandez to knock it in touch. Otherwise, Omar Salgado would have been through. And Sampson will take the throw into the chest of Atakubi, who set up the goal by Kenny Miller in the 26th minute. Kofi couldn't force it forward. Adam John just on the yellow card into Whitecap territory. Leaves it for Stevenson and then wide left for Garza. Garza tackled nicely by Sampson, and actually Sampson's going to get called for that.
Left his left foot hanging there. He did win the ball, but he left his left foot hanging. No need to do that.
And he's going to get a couple of those like that, I think, Dave. He's a very robust player. And tough as nails. Boy, did he ever flatten Marlon Ramirez in early days of preseason training at Thunderbird Stadium. And he's not a player, I think, that you'd want to have one of those 50-50 challenges with, as the Whitecaps set up a two-man wall. And Garza takes a thumping ball into the penalty area. A little flick. Did it hit a Whitecap last? It did not. It's a goal kick to our left as we approach the 44th minute. Shouldn't be a whole lot of stoppage time as Tornaghi puts the ball down. And he is eager to be into the action this year, and you can't expect David Osted to play every single game of the season when you throw in the Amway Canadian Championships for the Voyageurs Cup. And the same can be said for the two fullbacks here. Maybe the only area where you might look and say, do they have enough, full quality depth? Sam Atakubi and Ethan Sampson are the choices, but Beitashour and Harvey can't possibly play 40 games this year. As away goes Kenny Miller. Rolls it backwards to Mitchell, and he'll go back to his goalkeeper.
The question would be, could Sam Atakubi actually step in at right back as well? I think we've seen him on the right-hand side a little further forward here, and certainly capable. I'd like to see him in this game, Peter, get some minutes at his best position, left back.
Well, you might see that still if Christian Dean steps in for either Leveron or Mitchell, as John Bush slams a ball left-footed into Whitecap territory. There's Dean now heading it down, but it's Atiba Harris who will collect inside Whitecap territory. Squares it for Pirazza, and then Schuler trying to get around on his man Leveron. John plays it wide for Harris. Now 15 yards up, left-footed ball whipped in, and the back heel didn't come off there for Pirazza. Alderson does well to hold off one, and then give away, and it's wide of the far post from Atiba Harris. And actually, Bryce Alderson lucky he didn't get called for a foul there just inside the Whitecaps penalty area as he lost possession and then had to stick out a leg in desperation. But John's shot wide of the far post, and it's a goal kick as we're into the final moments of the first 45.
Yeah, and Alderson doing well to get back and win the ball, hold on to it. It looked like he was going to cut to his left and get away from his defender, but he cut back again to his right, didn't see the other attacker coming in. And as you said, I think he fouled him at the end, referee allowing play to go on because San Jose did have a clear shot.
Harris with a back heel that finds Leverone, and then Alderson, who spins away neatly to find Watson infield for Miller. And then Bryce Alderson floats it forward, looking for Omar Salgado. Following up is Kenny Miller, cutting to the middle. He's got Atakubi over here on this side. Good tackle in the end, though, and San Jose come away with it. And then a good move by Schuler to win it and play it in the path of Francis, who went down a few moments ago, looks okay now. Lays it into the path for Garza, and again, it's too long. Doesn't matter, though. 45 minutes have been played. The referee blows for halftime. And the Whitecaps will head to the tunnel with a 1-0 lead thanks to a Kenny Miller goal. Sam Atakubi and Omar Salgado playing a big part in it. After 45 minutes, Whitecaps 1, San Jose Earthquakes 0 here on Team 1410 and whitecapsfc.com. David Norman.
Yeah, I think it's a game that's two reserve teams against each other by and large. A little bit older team, as you pointed out before the game, a little more senior team for San Jose. But Whitecaps staying with it, you know, going through the lineup, some of the players that need to show that they can do. I'd personally, first time I've seen Ethan Sampson in a game of matter, and would like to see a little bit more from him. A lot of errant balls up the park. Some poor tackles, as you said, some mistimed tackles, and then giving away that last free kick there needlessly. So a little bit more from him. And I think that the two in the middle haven't really commanded the game. We talked about Gershon Kofi and Bryce Alderson needing to put their stamp on this game, and I don't think that's happened. On the positive side, some good signs from Omar Salgado. Still need a little bit more from him. And Kenny Miller, I think, has buzzed around. He's absolutely been working, obviously, on his fitness and getting around. And right near the end there, mad at himself he didn't get the shot away. But that only comes with game timing and play at game speed. So overall, the first half, good exercise and good to get through. But I think a few players need to show just a little bit more.
Whitecaps reserves from this roster of almost 20 are just below us getting ready, so you're sure to see some changes in the second 45 minutes. We'll step aside from whitecapsfc.com, and for our radio audience on Team 1410, halftime is coming up next. You're listening to Whitecaps preseason soccer, brought to you by Bell here on Team 1410.
Want to explore more and spend less? Alaska Airlines makes it easy with great fares to places you really want to go. Bask in the warmth of Hawaii with flights to 4 Hawaiian islands, or follow the Timbers on the road. Fly Alaska to Washington, D.C. and watch the Timbers take on D.C. United. Or head to Chicago to extinguish the fire. Maybe a quick trip down the coast to San Jose to shake up the earthquakes. No matter where you go, Alaska offers the most flights to the most places from Portland. Explore more, spend less, visit alaskaair.com. Since 1960, when John Wynn began with One Oregon millwork plant, we've been dedicated to crafting reliable windows and doors. Today you can see, touch, and feel reliability in our beautiful windows and doors because of their durability, energy efficiency, and worry-free performance. We measure our success by the relationships we build with our customers, suppliers, and communities where we live and work. We partnered with organizations such as the Green Building Initiative, which accelerates green building practices by promoting environmentally progressive approaches that are practical, affordable, and accessible. The Rose City Invitational is presented by Park Lane Mattresses. Don't miss your chance to meet the 2014 Portland Timbers and coaching staff on March 3rd at a special season kickoff event. Attendees will have the opportunity to meet their favorite players as well as see the kids. Tickets start at just $40. Visit www.timbers.com to reserve a spot and learn more about the 2014 season kickoff event. KeyBank is a proud founding sponsor of the Portland Timbers. It's just one part of KeyBank's involvement with our community. KeyBank's also demonstrated commitment to Oregon by having opened over 16 new branches in the last 2 years to better serve consumers and businesses. Visit key.com and go Timbers. All right, Rose City, here's a recap of tonight's first half, brought to you by CenturyLink.
front of where the Timbers Army usually will situate themselves. In fact, there are some Timbers Army faithful trickling in now. And San Jose will kick off the second half in their new royal blue strip with the black shorts, black sleeves, 3 white stripes, that very sleek looking new logo. The Whitecaps in the south goal to our right, all in white with the deep ocean blue trim, bell across the chest, and Paolo Tornaghi in pink to our right. It's David Bingham in goal, all in green now for San Jose. The Whitecaps have brought on Marco Bustos, who will wear number 32, Academy grad, filling in for Kenny Miller. Like that move, and I think Bingham is the only other move for the San Jose Earthquakes in the goal to our left. Referees all in red and black, as they have Yunus Marachki in the middle, Jeremy Hansen and Peter Valkunius as the assistants, and Tyler Ploger is the 4th official. Martinez is in as well.
Yes.
And who is he taking off? I think he's taking off Perazzi, I should say. As we're underway in the second half, we'll get those substitutions sorted out. Bryce Alderson plays it into the path of Christian Dean, and he'll play it across the back for Carlisle Mitchell. Wide right for Sampson, floodlights on, and into Bustos over on that far side in his first touch. Bit of a shocker. Off one leg and then the other, and in touch for a San Jose throw. Nice
little run to get forward, and I think with him playing in that role that Kenny Miller was playing in, you saw Miller get himself around the park, get a lot of movement in, and that's as much as what Carl Robinson is going to want to see from young Bustos, but he's got the quality to play at this level. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And can he find one of those seeing eye passes that he has in his arsenal would really bring him into the game nicely.
Atakubi tried to find Salgado, but that's taken away. And into midfield for Atiba Harris, and then Martinez plays it wide for John, running at the Whitecap back line. Leverone in tow, and then it's forced back. And Cordell Cato's on the park. He's on the ball too, so there have been a lot of changes as Bustos gets a shoulder in on Cato, and it's a free kick for San Jose. We don't have any indication or announcement just yet of those substitutions, so we're kind of flying blind a little bit here. But Cato looks to be in, and Martinez as well, number 81. And then for San Jose's third sub, it's the goalkeeper David Bingham wearing number 1 to our left. Sam Garza will take this free kick against a 2-man Whitecap wall. And this one is about 30 yards up, but only 4 or 5 yards off the near side touchline. There's the whipped in ball to the edge of the area. Martinez on his left foot swerves it wide. That might even be a throw in if Watson doesn't get there first, and he does.
Also in number 7, Cordell Cato. For number 26, Brandon Barclay.
Okay, so it's Cato in for Barclay.
So right back for Cato. We haven't seen that before. But he does have the pace and obviously to get up and down this side and to run at people, so they'll try and get him overlapping as much as possible. We've already seen him once down this side.
Matt Watson floats it into the path of Omar Salgado, and it just ran past him, and goalkeeper Bingham will snag it and throw it to Cato, and number 7, closed down by Atakubi, and bounces to Gershon Kofi, who will turn against Martinez and then play it backwards to Carlisle Mitchell. Make that Dean, who plays it wide right for Watson, into the feet of Bustos. Nice little layoff for Alderson as the Whitecaps got a bit younger with that substitution. Bustos wide once again. Matt Watson has the armband, by the way, in Kenny Miller's absence. And then Gershon Kofi swiftly back to Leverone and wide for Christian Dean. He's closed down quickly and gets thumped over by Atiba Harris. 2 big bodies acknowledging the collision and carrying on with it very quickly. This game is being played in good spirits. That will change come March 8th and beyond, when the MLS season gets underway properly. As up the line it goes from Watson. Good run on that far side as he battles away with Francis, and then it's off of Garza and also off of Ethan Sampson for a quick San Jose throw. Just underway, Whitecaps 1, San Jose 0 on the 26th minute goal from Kenny Miller. Nice ball out wide, and stroked ball across for Harris. Little layoff down for John. Make that Schuler, who spins away from Leverone. Back to Stevenson, forward to Harris, back to goal. Here comes Cato on the overlap, but it's played to the edge of the area. Nice little layoff. Schuler has a shot over the top, and Tornaghi watches it sail over his crossbar for a goal kick. And I think Schuler thought he was being pulled back a little bit there, and the Whitecaps might have gotten away with one, and it's a goal kick.
That had flown into the back of the net. He wasn't complaining. But you have to give him credit for good combination play with Sam Garza. We talked about Garza at halftime, a player that typically plays in the center of the park. A little lost out on that left side in the first half.
Look at Omar Salgado go racing into the penalty area. Left-footed ball as he cut it across. And it's knocked off Stevenson for a Whitecap corner, their second. That's very much like how he set up the winning goal in Victoria from Andre Lewis as he took it down the edge of the penalty area, and then at the byline, the left-footed ball across for Lewis to tap in as Sam Adekubi has Bustos short, plays it short. Bustos turns. He has Adekubi still, left-footed ball, wins another corner in the quadrant to our left, with the breeze picking up a little bit here in the evening in Portland, and certainly it's cooled down quite a bit. I have it at 9 Celsius, but it feels a lot cooler than that as Bustos himself will take this corner. Left-footed. Sampson dashed in, but it's all Bustos. Floats that left-footed ball into the middle of the park. Up goes Bingham after the header from, I'm not sure if it was Dean or not.
Dean.
And he steered it on target, so it is a shot on target, minute 51, but no problem for David Bingham, all in green, who will bowl it straight ahead for Kari Stevenson. And then through to Schuler, back to goal, manages to find Harris, but then there's Bryce Alderson to steal in, and he got pulled back by Harris, who's had 2 fouls in quick succession.
Yeah, and I think the referee stopped it because he wanted to have a little word with him. Really should have let play go there. Whitecaps still with possession.
Leverone quickly to Dean, who's on our near side now, and Adekubi let it run. Thought he was being a bit clever there, but Omar Salgado was never going to get there, and it's a throw into San Jose and Cordell Cato. As he whips it to midfield, Schuler beaten in the air by Dean. Bustos, nice little flick forward for Kofi. Acres of space for Ethan Sampson. Is he going to take this ball and run with it? He's got Matt Watson ahead of him. And Sampson didn't attack the space. He played it into the space for Watson, who's battling away on that far side with Francis. Francis facing his own byline and plays it back to the goalkeeper, Bingham, who has to get it out with his left foot. And it's straight to Kofi as it ran past Martinez. And now the Whitecaps through Bustos, who's looked lively. Finds Alderson, spreads it wide left. Adekubi holds up against Cato, drops it back for Dean. Dean, nice little move, left-footed ball, zips it along the turf, and a good effort by Salgado, who opened up left-footed and missed the near post by 2 yards. Great ball in by Dean, but it's a goal kick to our left in minute 52.
And it was Bustos and Bryce Alderson setting that up with good interplay in the middle of the park, getting it out to Sam Adekubi and then to Dean, and he did the right thing again, Pete. When you get forward, you don't have to think. Just get it into the box. Salgado making a good run to get away from his defender. Unfortunately, not able to get it on target.
Bryce Alderson in a battle again as now Kofi wins it for Watson, floats it forward. Now it's a foot race, and Omar Salgado is going to get on the end of this. Still going, Salgado. Can he get a shot away? Stays on his feet, and then Cato comes in to dig it out. A good ball forward, and Salgado did the most of it, but he was surrounded in the end, and San Jose comes out through John. Nice move to get past one, and there's Alderson battling away, and a good job by Alderson there. Headed forward by Leverone. I'm trying to sort of quickly calculate the average age here, Dave.
It's
the
very
oldest,
young.
It's Matt Watson, the oldest guy in the park.
28, 29.
Everybody else.
Bustos at 17. Alderson at 20. Adekubi at 19. Salgado at 20.
That's great to see.
Dean at 22.
Tornaghi brings the age up a tiny bit as well. And then, of course, Gershon's at 22 as San Jose has possession back through Stevenson. And then Hernandez.
And I think from a Whitecap supporter perspective, we'll talk about that in a minute. Here's Bryce Alderson's won it.
Alderson steals. A little square ball for Kofi. Look at Adekubi racing away 20 yards up on his left foot. Running at Cato. A couple of step overs. Gets past Cato. Sends it in at the near post. Hits side netting. And nothing else. Goal kick to our left in minute number 54.
Yeah, and so from a Whitecap supporter's perspective, the hardcores, the Southsiders, Curva Collective that go out and watch these youngsters week after week, and when they're at home in the USSDA, you've got Adekubi playing, you've got Marco Bustos playing, Bryce Alderson playing, Tybert the other night, players that they've watched come through the system. And as the years go on, that's exactly what fans want to see, and is of course what the club wants to see as a big part of their business model, developing their own players. One of the probably half dozen teams to 10 teams in the MLS that take it very seriously.
Bustos again running forward. Marco Bustos for Omar Salgado, and a good save by Bingham, who had to stretch out with his left hand. And the Whitecaps earn their third corner of the half after Bustos again involved, picked out Salgado, and this is exciting to watch. Boy, you said it. There's just, when you see kids mature before your eyes and are now playing against men, even if it's just preseason, it gets your juices flowing a little bit here for sure as you look at the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
With Bustos set to take this left-footed. The number 32 zips it in with pace, and a steered header wide of the far post by Carlisle Mitchell, and he knew it. He had a good look at it, and he now races to get back in position as Martinez sends it up that far line. Schuler keeps it in as he dangles along the touch line, then backwards for Francis and backwards to the goalkeeper Bingham, who just had to make a save off Omar Salgado, who's also looked decent in this game, setting up a goal, and he's had a couple of chances as well. Alderson looked like he was fouled, and unfortunately Salgado was in an offside position there, and Bingham will have it back for the Quakes. Hernandez chips it to his left. Francis, one touch with the right, and then a left-footed ball thumped forward for Schuler. One in the air easily by Leverone, and Kofi manages to win the ball, but gives it straight back to Hernandez. And then in for Kari Stevenson and Cordell Cato across the park. San Jose in the middle third. Nice ball forward, and down goes Schuler as Kofi knocked him over.
And Kofi says, sorry about that pass to Marco Bustos. Marco finding himself in that gap, and that's one of the things he does best, Peter, is he gets in behind that defensive midfield from the opponent and their defenders. He gets it, and he's able to turn very, very quickly. We saw him do it a moment ago when he played in Salgado. Of all his good traits, that's probably his best, is that innate ability to find space. And as you get better and as you get into better leagues and play against better players, that is so important, and it's one of the key things that Marco's got in his arsenal.
Too far ahead for Schuler in Whitecap territory, and so it's steered backwards from Mitchell to Tornaghi, who sends a right-footed ball into midfield off the chest of Kofi. Martinez won it back, but there's Mitchell, and he'll play it to his right for Ethan Sampson, and he'll float the ball forward over the head of Bustos onto the chest of Hernandez. He gives it to Kofi, who just couldn't corral it, and Adam John has possession now for the Earthquakes, who had a very good rookie campaign. Sends it wide left. Couple of step overs, and then Ethan Sampson called for the foul as Garza got around Sampson. Free kick for San Jose in minute 57 with the Earthquakes trailing by a goal to nil. This will be 10 yards up from the byline and about 5 yards off that far sideline.
Yeah, and he's just a half step too late. Held his man well to start with, and then all of a sudden dives in again, leaving that left foot dangling.
As here comes the cross from Garza, two-man wall. And it's Garza who smashes it in, punched up in the air by Tornaghi, and then the flying header away from Atakubi into midfield. Cato sends it back forward again, and a climbing header attempt there by Salgado falls to John, who's dancing away at the edge of the area. San Jose gets it right back again. Garza forward. John, little layoff. Francis into the penalty area. Far post and headed off and out. Will it be a corner? It will. San Jose will get a set-piece opportunity in the 58th minute from the near side quadrant to our right.
I thought Dean was a little bit lucky there. The right winger, or the person coming in from the right wing, Schuler at that point, did sneak inside him a little bit. Unfortunately for the Whitecaps, he wasn't able to get his head on it fully, and it bounces off of Dean.
Garza with another whipped in ball, and a volley down, cleared away again by Carlisle Mitchell, who's blocked two away now after Francis smashed it towards goal. Then Hernandez, watched by Bustos, gets around the corner on Bustos, and then given away as Sampson picks out Alderson. Can he play it soon? He does, and now it's a foot race, but Omar Salgado is going to abandon that foot race, as in possession is Ty Harden, who's back in the squad now. So that was another substitution that Mark Watson made at halftime. Didn't pick that one out until just now, as Stevenson goes back to Bingham, and he sends it neatly to Martinez. So Harden, the experienced MLS fullback, might be playing at center back right now, though, as it looks like Hernandez. No, it's Hernandez and Harden playing at center back. As infield it comes, Schuler, and we're forced to go back to Ty Harden, and he'll poke it into midfield for Martinez. Up the line for John. Running infield, a little left-footed ball for Martinez, then for Harris, who got tangled up with the referee, and Bryce Alderson moves it quickly to Atakubi, then for Bustos. Bustos does a good job holding off Stevenson, plays it backwards to big Christian Dean, who's being chased by Adam John. It's backwards to Tornaghi, one touch with the right and then smashed into midfield for Ethan Sampson. Reels it in nicely, plays it into the feet of Salgado. Turns one way, then the other. Now he's facing forward and plays it wide left for Sam Adekubi. Infield, Bustos. Running forward, Marco. And then again, back out wide for Adekubi. In for Christian Dean. Is he going to swerve another one into the penalty area here? Nice ball for Adekubi. Edge of the box. Sends it through. Deflection backwards and out for another Whitecap corner. And again, it's Sam Adekubi and big Christian Dean combining there for a Whitecap corner kick opportunity.
Excellent combination between those two. Adekubi actually making an overlapping run, if you can, inside the field. Dean able to nick the ball through two players. I thought Adekubi could have taken his time just a little bit more there. He a little bit rush of blood. He saw a lot of open space. Could have drove into that space and done a little bit more there. But as it was, he has won the corner.
Bustos, two hands in the air, then a left-footed ball into the area, headed away. It falls for Kofi with a volley, and it was headed towards goal but blocked away. And now Alderson turning away from pressure once, slips it into Dean, then into the penalty area nicely for Salgado. Can he get there? No, the flag goes up for offside. He looked like he was good from here, and here comes the speed. Three demons coming out onto the park. Maddox, Hurtado, and Mane. Look out, San Jose backline now. So does that mean the end for, let's see, who's going to come out here?
Well, if it was like for like in position they're playing, it would be Watson, Adekubi, and Omar Salgado.
Cato into the Whitecap penalty area. Maybe one last chance for Adekubi to impress here, but he's done a fair bit of that.
I wouldn't mind seeing him Dean coming off, though, and getting Adekubi in that left back spot for a run.
Or maybe it's going to be Mitchell coming out, and maybe Dean goes into the center of the park.
Yep.
Here come the substitutions, and two more as well for San Jose, as Freddie Braun is coming on as well, along with A.J. Corrado, and making way are Atiba Harris and Kari Stevenson.
It is Adekubi coming off.
So Sam's off for Eric Hurtado. Omar Salgado's off for Darren Maddox, and Matt Watson, you'd think, is off for Kakuta Mane, and now the Whitecaps will have a chance to really exploit their pace as Maddox.
Fresh, quick young players that, at least in Maddox and Hurtado, I thought played very well the other night. Mane, as we talked about, is just getting into a full match fitness here. Needs lots of touches still at game pace, but he just has that running ability. His first touch the other night when he ran down the left wing and just cut inside, you see it very, very quickly. What he can do with the ball.
I don't think Omar Salgado was very happy about coming out there just now as he went off, and I think he had a rather odd body language asking Carl Robinson why he needed to come off at that time. But on we go as Freddie Braun plays it into that corner. Garza couldn't keep possession. Sampson rolls it into Bustos, into Kofi, back to Bustos beautifully, and nice tackle. Martinez turning back the other way, and Johnny Leverone had to be quick to it there as he thumps it forward, and it rolls slowly. And will it even make it off the park? It won't. It's going to stay on the field, and Cato knocks it off Mane for San Jose throw. He gets about 5 more yards up the line. Dean heads it down. Mane infield for Bustos. Bustos wriggling away from one, then two, then finds Dean into the path of Maddox, and Bustos couldn't follow up, but there's Kofi, and he'll play it to the right fullback, Ethan Sampson. Up the line it goes for Eric Hurtado. 1v1 with Francis. Away goes Alderson forward. Maddox tried to steer it into the path of Alderson, but it curved past Bryce, the Kitchener-born Ontarian, and it's a goal kick to our left. We're in the 63rd, now 64th minute. Whitecaps 1, San Jose 0. Second game for the Whitecaps and Earthquakes. The Earthquakes winning that first one against Portland 1-0 on the opening day, the second of the doubleheader. And the tournament will wrap up on Saturday with San Jose playing Portmore United and the Whitecaps playing the Timbers in an all-Cascadian clash. 5 o'clock kickoff on Team 1410 and whitecapsfc.com. Adam John backwards to the number 19, Freddie Braun, then wide for Garza. Garza trying to get around the corner on Sampson, does, and Sampson with a big tackle. It's a corner, but it could have been worse from there. And so San Jose with an opportunity from that far quadrant.
Yeah, Garza running at Sampson yet again. Sampson beaten originally, but did well to get back and get a well-timed tackle that time in. See if Whitecaps can get their lines cleared here.
as Garza swerves it in nicely over the head of everybody, including Gershon Kofi. Out on the other side and picking up is Francis. Battling away with Leverone has been solid. A deflection, and Tornaghi did well to read it and save the corner. Good job by the Italian goalkeeper, who does have his green card, so he's not an international. He's a domestic player, and that made him equally attractive, the 25-year-old, as Mane tried a cheeky little flick that falls nicely to Bustos, who's charging forward. Marco Bustos getting a couple of shouts from his teammates in the penalty area. Lays back for Mane. Lay off from Maddox. Back to Mane in the area, and he finds Hurtado, and it bounces off Eric's shin and to the goalkeeper Bingham. But what a breathtaking break for the Whitecaps, and they just couldn't turn it into a shot on target.
And therein lies the difference, Peter. From a first-team, exciting, quick young player like Mane. First of all, Bustos did very well to get him the ball. And then Mane with that quick 1-2, just showing his electric pace, unable to keep possession at the last minute there. But he just stands out in a crowd, doesn't he?
Corrado couldn't win that ball, but Dean thumps it back into touch. And don't forget, the Whitecaps also have a pretty blue chip prospect in the name of Keans Froese, who hurt himself in that tournament here for the residency down in Portland. Otherwise, he might be in the action as well. Yeah,
I think Keans was scheduled to play in that. Again, a very, very good player, quality player. Probably a little bit stronger in physical presence of Bustos at this point in time. But you saw a minute ago Bustos with his quick feet and what he can do as well.
Giveaway there by the Whitecaps, and Schuler has it for San Jose over in that inside left channel. Then for Walter Martinez, that is, who switches it to the near side. Corrado into the penalty area. Good reaching tackle again by Leverone, and then thumped away by Mane. No Whitecap on the end of it, though. And so back it goes from Freddie Braun, and Martinez back in possession once again. Harden into John, and then Martinez grabbed by Bustos, and that's an easy free kick decision. Yep. As Marco has a long stick. Who does Marco look like to you? A former Whitecap who played in a similar position, same kind of haircut and stature. Davide Cumiento, maybe?
A little bit, yeah.
Martinez out to this near side for Corrado. Top right-hand corner of the penalty area, trying to get around Dean, which is like getting around a brick wall. And Dean kept his shape and found Darren Maddox with a good ball. Make that, it is Maddox with back to goal. And Maddox still battling away at it. Great job by the Jamaican to charge forward. He's got Mane to his left. Can he find him, or will Darren go on himself? And the Whitecaps have to watch out. They stay on side here. Bustos knocked over, and the Whitecaps with a free kick opportunity. And might this be Marco Bustos territory as he grabs his right ankle? Looks to be okay. And that was Ty Harden who's getting a talking to from our referee. So a good free kick opportunity here. And again, we talked about what the Whitecaps are missing in Camilo. This is the area that they'll miss the Brazilian the most. But let's see if somebody else can take that torch. And one of them is Marco Bustos.
Yeah, I've seen him work on them in training as short a time ago as last week, and he can crack a ball. He walks away from this one, though. You've got Kofi, Mane, and don't forget Johnny Leverone. We saw him at the MLS level last year a number of times. Good pace on it, good curl on it. Most of his shots, though, were over the bar on his free kicks. Let's see if he can keep it down, because he can certainly hit a ball. There's no doubt about that. Yet to see Mane on it, but he looks like he's shaping up to hit this as well.
Four-man wall. Leverone has a go, and wouldn't you know it, right over the crossbar.
Kreskin.
And that's David Kreskin Norman here in the 68th minute. And a goal kick for David Bingham to our left. Whitecaps 1, San Jose 0 here at the Rose City Invitational. Peter Shad and David Norman, great to have you along on Team 1410. If you're listening and watching on whitecapsfc.com, ball floated in towards John. Good jumping, reaching header there by Carlisle Mitchell. He's so good at those. And now it's Kofi trying to win the follow-up. It falls to Bustos. Quickly out wide left for Kekuta Mane. Running forward is Bustos. Wanted it, but it's backwards to Kofi. Kofi looking up. And he'll switch play to Ethan Sampson in acres of space over on that right-hand side. He'll take it. A little reluctant to run with it against Sam Garza, so he'll go backwards to Carlisle Mitchell. And Mitchell will go backwards to Johnny Leverone. Dean over on this near side. Mane up the line. Great first touch. Rolled his man. Slips it forward. Now it's a foot race between Harden and Maddox. Maddox might get there. The goalkeeper comes out, but I think Well, it's just a goal kick. It went off Maddox last, so it's a goal kick here in minute 69 to our left.
And Mane with a cute little touch inside there. I thought he had open space to go in himself. Darren Maddox doing well to take Ty Harden out to the left-hand side. There was a gap down that inside left channel that I thought Mane could have run into. He tried to play Maddox in, unfortunately not finding him.
Kofi wins a header in midfield. A little ball forward again from Mane. Slipped in for Bustos. Bustos slips it through for Eric Hurtado, edge of the box, and it just went off the ankle of the forward for the Whitecaps, and actually some good cover from Sean Francis as well, as the ball is now played into midfield and San Jose trying to come back with it. Corrado lost it to Dean, quickly forward, and the Whitecaps just need one break to put this game away, as Mane sprinting forward, still weaving his way, but again San Jose coming up with it as Harden plays it to Cato. Sliding tackle for Mane, who then gets up to it, gets past Cato, and the referee's assistant said the ball had gone out. It's a throw-in for San Jose below us down to the left.
Wow, Mane looks much better than he did the other night coming on. He had the runs the other night, but he didn't have the quality. He didn't have that final touch. But tonight he certainly has upgraded that a little bit. And again, I have to give praise to Marco Bustos. He's getting on the ball. He looks comfortable on the ball. He's playing guys in and working extremely hard as we see him here again.
He does not look like a 17-year-old at the moment, as 17 in blue. Garza plays it to Martinez, swings it wide for Francis. He thumps it forward, but it's nowhere near Adam John. And San Jose looks like they've run out of ideas at the moment, while the Whitecaps look like they're dangerous every time they step forward. And so here come a couple of bruisers up front. Chris Wondolowski and Steven Lenhart ready to come in, as Mark Watson wants to change his team's fortunes a little bit. Kofi slips it into Alderson, so the defending is going to have to be very sharp. And Alderson looked like he got fouled, didn't get the decision, and San Jose keeps possession. As Corrado sends it down the line. Maybe the last chance for Schuler to show. It won't get to him, though, as it rolls over the byline in minute 71. And here comes the double substitution for Mark Watson's Earthquakes, and the two guys you'll see starting regularly. And even the few Timbers Army fans that are here welcome Steven Lenhart with a chorus of boos. You know, it's hard to fathom who the Timbers Army would be cheering against in this game.
No, I think the Whitecaps probably against Vancouver till Lenhart
got on the park.
And you know, if you're Vancouver, do you like San Jose bringing those two on? I do. You want Leveron to have a little more pressure. You want Carlisle Mitchell to have a little bit more pressure on them as the whole defense. You were just talking a minute ago that Whitecaps look like creating more, and I was about to say, but they've also been very solid defensively. Now we're going to see if they can continue that. It's only going to be for 20 minutes or so, but a good test for these two at the back for sure.
Corrado's playing wide right. There it is to Lenhart. He spins away, and it's sent beautifully into the path of Garza wide left. 1v1 with Sansom out there on that far side. Then back for Francis and infield to Martinez, and then across into midfield, where it's picked up by the second half substitute Braun. Out wide for Corrado, pokes it forward. Here's Lenhart at the edge of the Whitecaps penalty area, slips it into the box, and it went behind Wondolowski. And Gershon Kofi will try to wriggle his way out free, and instead he goes backwards to Tornagi, who sends a right-footed ball into midfield, but straight to Martinez. And then the follow-up is a foul against Kofi as he knocked over Braun, and so it's a free kick for San Jose, halfway between the penalty area and the midfield stripe, and Martinez standing off of it.
Yeah, and Kofi's been better this half, I have to say, but that's a silly foul. Don't want to give opportunities away to San Jose when they bring those two on. We talked about how good they are in the air, how aggressive they are on set pieces, and now Martinez has got an opportunity to pick probably a Lenhart out, who's the very furthest wide player.
Martinez floats it forward, and Mitchell was the first man there, only as far as Corrado, down to Lenhart in the penalty area, trying to turn away from Dean, top of the box, knocked away. Martinez wins it back and tried to stab it forward into the box. Kofi with a desperation clearance. If the Whitecaps do get it here, they've got men forward. Alderson, he's got Mane, and Mane just can't get there. It was too far ahead of him, and that's the role that you really need Bryce Alderson to play, is to be the provider here when everybody's forward in blue and you got the three speed demons for your Whitecaps.
Yeah, and especially a guy like Mane, you don't necessarily have to play it way in front of him like that. Get it to his feet. He was open to get it to his feet and let him make it happen and run at the players.
Wondolowski to Garza into Whitecap territory. Sends it across for Lenhart. Out the other side, still loose. Corrado in the middle. Oh, it was a poor ball from Corrado. Otherwise, San Jose would have surely had a tap in, and a great attack by Vancouver as now Mane switches the ball across the park for Hurtado. Takes it down beautifully. He's got Maddox steaming ahead of him. There's the through ball for Darren Maddox. He'll need support in the box now. Bustos is there, so is Hurtado, and it's Maddox 1v1 with Hernandez. Then he holds up, spins inside, lays it to Hurtado again, tried to poke it back through. There's Maddox, sends it across, it's loose, and hammered away by Francis. Right to Sampson. Sampson getting to the outside, into the box, sends it through and into the hands of Bingham with two Whitecaps right there.
Oh, Marco Bustos calling for it at the edge of the box there. He just needed to lay it back into him. But it was a good run from Sampson, one of the few that we've seen tonight where he's really taken the initiative in that final third to get forward, but he did do well there. Unfortunately not able to get that final ball, a quality ball, into a Whitecap attacker.
Lenhart flicked the ball forward. Leveron volleys it back into midfield, and Harden, knocked over on the challenge of Bustos, is not afraid to get into it with these big boys. Wondolowski with a little flick forward, and Carlisle Mitchell will play it back to his goalkeeper, who has to volley it into midfield, and there's Eric Hurtado to retrieve it. Little layoff for Alderson, turns away from Martinez. Nicely done as Bryce looks up the park and finds Hurtado. Then backwards to Sampson, who sidesteps his man Garza before floating a ball into San Jose territory, but that's asking an awful lot of Alderson to chase. And it's back to the goalkeeper Bingham here in minute 76. Whitecaps 1, San Jose 0. Long floated ball, easily taken down by Dean. Nods it into the path of Mane, who tried to steer it infield. Dean does get it back and then finds Mane. Dean carries on his run. Whitecaps win a throw-in right at midfield below us.
Unlucky, and I think Dean's looked a lot more comfortable in this half as well. His play's a little bit quicker. He's keeping better possession for the side. We've seen him get forward a couple of times. So he's finding that role at left back a little bit more comfortable even within just this half.
Braun infield for Martinez, and then backwards it goes to Hernandez. And a little ball to his right for Harden. Slips it through for Braun and back to Harden once again, as San Jose looks for an equalizer here with the Whitecaps leading on the 26th minute goal from Kenny Miller. Floated to the near side for Corrado, ran past him, but there's Lenhart to collect, and he's running at Johnny Leverone. Leverone manages to hold him up as it's played backwards and infield to Braun, then into the circle for Martinez, and a little lay-on for Hernandez stepping up from the back, probing forward, looking for a way in. Wondolowski nicely wide for Garza, watched closely by Sampson. Hurtado there as well, top of the box, nice little give and go. Wondolowski, Garza sends it in, and it's Leverone to smash it away. Is it a corner or a goal kick? It's a, sorry, it's a throw-in.
Throw-in, yeah.
Throw-in, sorry, throw-in or a corner, and it is a throw-in. I think Garza wants to take a corner. Now he'll just leave it.
Well defended by Leverone there. Good position in the middle. No opportunity for Garza to get a good cross in.
And certainly an intriguing contest in the late stages. And of course, it's the late stages that San Jose is famous for. Francis whips it in. Leverone had it run past him. Corrado infield, in the box, and the Whitecaps win it back. And then it's smashed into midfield where Cato takes over. Cato, 25 yards up, running forward, getting past his man Mane rather easily. Out wide for Corrado. Right-footed ball in the box and off of Dean and out for another San Jose corner in minute 78. It'll come from the near side to our right. And again, it'll be Garza to take with Lenhart as a target. And of course, the crumbs, well, they always seem to fall to Wondolowski, who will be hovering in that penalty area. And here comes the right-footed delivery from Garza. Swerves it in. Alderson there easily thumps it into touch with the header. And Cordell Cato will get a nice ball from Mark Watson. And the referee didn't like something, so he's having a chat with who else? Stephen Lenhart.
Who else is involved, of course.
And I think Carlisle Mitchell will probably be involved in this conversation as well, as the referee just wants to cool some heads here. And it is getting cooler, by the way, down to 7 Celsius now, and breezy in Portland, expecting a bit of rain or showers tonight, but that's held off for the most part. 12 minutes from time, and the Whitecaps looking to be in great shape in a tournament context if they can hang on and win this game, as Cato will flick it forward and get it back beautifully from Corrado. Cato trying to get to the outside of Dean. Dean goes to ground, wins the ball temporarily. Cato got it back. Big size mismatch there. And then Cato very cleverly knocks it off of Dean for yet another corner, and they're mounting here, this time in the 79th minute. And again, Garza is going to take this one, and even the big boys from the back are stepping up now.
Yeah, and Garza runs out this time to the corner. A little more urgency within San Jose, and they do have the bodies in the box that can finish this.
Whipped in and volleyed, blocked away again. I think Dean got on the end of that one, and it's off and out now. Or was that Sampson who blocked it?
That was Sampson that just snuck across to the left-hand side there.
So the Whitecaps have had a couple of those blocked shots that were heading goalward.
Which is a good sign, Pete.
They're working.
Yep.
And Hernandez in the circle, right-footed ball, floated into the edge of the penalty area. Lenhart goes up, got a flick. It falls to Garza, still at the edge of the Whitecaps box. Tried to slip it in for Lenhart, and there's too many bodies all crammed around there. Finally, it falls to Dean, and he's just going to hammer it forward. Now Darren Maddox is going to try to get there. Beautifully headed down, though, and then Mane knocks it off, and he's not happy with himself. The Whitecaps need to keep some possession now.
Yeah,
exactly
that. Neither team can really get it down, can they? But San Jose is probing forward more, pushing forward more. But neither team in the last few minutes has been able to get a handle on the ball, and that's exactly what the Whitecaps need now. Gershon, Kofi, Bryce Alderson, Marco Bustos get their foot on it, slow the pace of the game down a little bit, and keep possession for the Whitecaps.
And they'll win a throw-in inside San Jose territory in front of the Whitecaps technical area. And it'll be Christian Dean to take. 80th minute. Whitecaps 1, San Jose 0 on whitecapsfc.com and Team Radio, Team 1410, of course. As the ball was won back from Maddox, and Wondolowski will quickly play in Martinez. Racing away to the left is Garza, and closing him down early is Sampson, isolating him out in that wide area. But Garza does get it infield to Martinez, and he moves it beautifully into the path of Cordell Cato. It's one-way traffic now, all San Jose. Right-footed ball, Lenhart with a header, and just wide. Glancing header from the big man up front, and it's swerved wide of the far upright in minute 81. Goal kick to our right, and a big sigh of relief for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, I'm not sure Cato was trying to pick him out, but he did whip the ball in. Lenhart just pulling off Mitchell. He does that so well, doesn't he? Beautiful. Just finds that yard or so in the box. Sometimes he gets in behind the defender. Sometimes he pushes off him. He's good in the air. That time not able to get it on target.
From the goal kick, Hurtado takes it down, got pulled back, but did well to keep possession, and he just couldn't find Bryce Alderson with a square ball. And now the Whitecaps do win it back through Bustos. And again, one counterattack that's successful, and the game's over. As now it's Mane running forward. Has a long rip, and he stings the fingers of David Bingham with a 25-yard effort. And Bingham will quickly switch the play and throw it wide for Garza. He looked across the park, wanted to switch it again, but goes backwards to Hernandez, and then back to the goalkeeper Bingham once again. As Hernandez will try to start out now as he pokes it ahead for Braun, who turns in the middle third. Inside left channel, gave it away to Kofi, but they get it right back again, San Jose, and then wide for Francis. And Bingham again looking forward, shaping up left, but then going backwards to Hernandez. As the fans start to trickle in en masse now for the Timbers and Portmore game coming up after this one. Both teams losing their opening games. Corrado tried to play a first-time ball forward, but Johnny Leverone is all by himself in retrieving that one. Dean back to Leverone. Wondolowski chasing. It's a thumping ball forward. Harden is there, but Darren Maddox will chase beautifully. Darren Maddox putting Harden under all sorts of pressure. Plays it backwards, and Bingham very calmly finds Cordell Cato coming out of the back. Then infield for Braun once again. Forward for Wondolowski, back to goal, and again Mane almost got there, but Corrado wins it, finds Wando, and he'll switch play beautifully over on that far side for Garza. And then overlapping was Francis, but Garza's first touch was poor, and the San Jose wide man will hold up and poke it square for Martinez.
Shows the quality difference, doesn't it? When Whitecaps brought the three speedsters, first-team players on, and San Jose did the same up front, it just adds that much to the game, doesn't it?
It's been fun these last few minutes, and of course, as you know, the bread and butter of this Earthquakes team is that Goonies never die attitude. The late stages are their favorite, as Bustos will win a free kick. I think it was Dean actually who won the free kick right at midfield. That slows things down here in the 83rd minute now. And the Whitecaps in no rush to take this.
No, they'll take this for sure.
Still need to be professional now, even if you're trying to showcase yourself. As Leverone plays in Maddox, then back to Johnny. It's Maddox's last hurrah before representing his country, as Martinez wins the ball back for Braun, and it's forward again to Wondolowski. Into the feet of Lenhart, spinning in Whitecap territory. The big number 24 swerves it all the way across the park for Francis. He rolls it ahead for Martinez into Whitecap territory, 25 yards up, edge of the penalty area, cutting infield. Sampson going with a shoulder, and Martinez falling and grabbing the ball. It didn't seem like it was really a foul there.
No, he does. He gets his foot in. He goes to toe poke a lot and is just a little bit late. But that time I didn't think he was. Thought he did well against Martinez, who was trying to cut inside on Sampson. But again, it's a dangerous free kick. We've seen some good balls in from Sam Garza here. Takes a really, really deep run at the ball, almost coming back towards the ball, but he whips it in well, and he does have those big bodies up front now that he didn't have in the first half.
It's about 25 yards up and left-hand edge of the penalty area. Two-man wall and lots of targets, of course, as he zips it in high, back post, off the crossbar and over. Tornagi had it covered. It's a goal kick to our right in minute number 85.
It was a little too close for comfort just to let it go, I think, but in the end it worked out for him.
And the referee wants Tornagi to get on with it. So he places it in his 6-yard area and will thump this one forward. Right-footed delivery from Tornagi into San Jose territory. Kofi with a nice flick forward. Cato reels it in, turns neatly, does well to keep possession. Maddox did very well to win it back, and now he's off to the races. Darren Maddox charging to the edge of the penalty area. Layoff, top of the box. Mane trying to wriggle free for a shot. Left-footed effort. Bingham stopped it on target, but right in the center of the goal. Good run by Maddox. Not a bad effort by Mane, but he couldn't pick his spot there, and Bingham was equal to it.
Good run by Maddox, but first of all, he had to work hard to win that ball back, Pete. And again, we did not see that from him last year, but a great win from Maddox, working hard on this left-hand side here and finding Mane for the shot.
Christian Dean just laid out Steven Lenhart, and that's the reaction you hear from the Portland fans. And Lenhart is still down. It was a 50-50 ball, and Dean came in hard shoulder to shoulder. And Lenhart certainly the worse for wear. Bustos offering a hand up. And as you can tell, public enemy number 1 at Providence Park, number 24 in Royal Blues, now hobbling. And the way he screamed when he came down, it might have been an issue of how he landed.
Yeah, I think so.
Not just the challenge, it was how he came down from it that would certainly cause some concern. He is hobbling rather severely as he comes to the technical area, and San Jose is going to carry on with 10 men here. As Martinez sends it in back post, Tornagi snatches it in the 6-yard box. Hurtado's off to the races, wanted it early, but the goalkeeper will slow things down and then switch play with a throw to Dino. Lenhart's off.
He's off. That's
bad news. And now a great ball forward finds Bustos. Whitecaps playing against 10 men. Ball slipped through. Here comes Mane. Kakuta Mane for Maddox. Oh, and a poor layoff at the top of the box. And then it slips free to Eric Hurtado on the other side. Hurtado overlapping as Sampson. That's a great ball. Can Sampson ping it in now? Ethan Sampson sends it across. Alderson brought down, penalty. And that should do it. Who's going to take it? The Whitecaps awarded a penalty in minute 87, and here's a chance to put this second game away for the men in white.
And one man went straight to it, and that was Darren Maddox. Kofi running up the park. Maddox gave him that, no, I'll take care of this. Like to see that in a striker. Wants to score goals, had one the other night. Can he add to that? Good run from Bryce Alderson there to win the penalty kick, and some great combination play again with Bustos, Mane, and Maddox in that attack.
There's the whistle. Darren Maddox to put this game out of reach. Tucks it away to his right. The goalkeeper went to his left in minute 88. Whitecaps 2, Earthquakes 0. And the Whitecaps are going to be undefeated heading into that final game against Portland on Saturday evening. Maybe the bigger story here and the bigger worry, Steven Lenhart hobbling off the park after the collision with Christian Dean. And so they still haven't made a substitution yet.
Yeah, Salinas has just run on, Pete.
Okay, Shea Salinas on for Lenhart, and Wondolowski tries to get on with it very quickly as he plays it down that left flank. And Salinas right on it, the former Whitecap, trying to get to the outside, tried to cross it in, does get it into the box, and Gershon Kofi did well there and finds Eric Hurtado. Sampson made a great run to set up the penalty. Alderson was fouled clearly, and Darren Maddox converting his second goal of the tournament. Whitecaps double the lead as the ball is off and out on the far side, and just over 2 minutes left to go here. Wondolowski back out wide for Shea Salinas, the Lubbock, Texas native who the Whitecaps picked up in the expansion draft. Alderson floats the ball near side for Kakuta Mane. Mane with a great overlapping run from Dean. And Bustos back to Mane. Infield to Alderson. Moving it quickly. Alderson fouled. Whitecaps will win it and get it about 15 yards inside their own territory. Mitchell will leave it for Leverone. And some excited Vancouver fans, I'm sure, watching the youth and the speed of this Whitecaps team. And actually some very good defensive play as well.
I think that cannot be overlooked, Pete. They've been solid defensively. Only the one real chance in the first half that Tornagi had to go down to his left.
Wondolowski trying to do it himself, but his ball runs all the way through, and Tornagi might just let this one run over the byline. No, he'll stop it in the 89th minute, pick it up. And by the way, Christian Dean, every ounce of Christian Dean slammed Stephen Lennart to the turf with a 50-50 challenge that has brought the big number 24 off the park as Mane spins away, but Martinez wins it back. Then spinning is Garza, who's over on this near side now with Salinas over on the left. Martinez tried to slip it through. It took a deflection backwards. Mitchell very calmly off his chest before he chips it out to Dean, and Dean will try to keep it in, but instead floats it into touch. And we're now into the final minute. We'll await the fourth official's board to go up. Wondolowski tried a little black flick, but it's Johnny Leverone who slams the ball into midfield. Picked up there by Hardin. And then for Corrado, nicely into Wondolowski. Left-footed ball, beautifully picks out Shea Salinas. Takes it down. And a great tackle by Ethan Sampson. And now is that ball going to stay in? It's not. Had it stayed in, Ethan Sampson might have had a case to chase after it. And it'll be a throw-in as San Jose desperately trying to get this back in play and maybe just get a consolation goal at this stage. They're not going to come back and win it, that's for sure. As Braun rolls it backwards to Hernandez.
And it's Lennart's ankle that they've are now strapping a massive ice bag on.
Well, let's hope he's okay for the sake of the San Jose fans as Shea Salinas whips it into the penalty area again. Tornagi, who's been clean all evening. 2 good saves and a lot of crosses that he's flagged down. Into the 90th minute, 2 minutes of time to be added. 2 minutes away from the Whitecaps being perfect at the Rose City Invitational. Now it's a foot race for Eric Hurtado, who just got a nice little cross block there, if you will.
He had to. The defender, I think it was Hardin again, had to stand in front of him.
Hernandez it was who came back and just got in his path and sort of stopped Hurtado's momentum a little bit. And now Bingham, beaten on that penalty, sends it long, and Dean wins the header easily against Wondolowski. Then Martinez wide right for Corrado into Wondolowski. Nice back heel. Dean's going to get there, though. He's making a case for himself, Christian Dean, to stick around here, even with 4 center backs ahead of him. And that's a nice option to have, is to have him be able to play fullback like that. As Salinas plays it into the penalty area for Garza. Nice little layoff at the top of the box for Braun. Can he get it back? No. Bryce Alderson stepping in the way and slamming it in midfield. Look at Darren
Maddox go.
He's chasing hard. He's going to force a clearance from the goalkeeper, Bingham, and he's going to send it into Whitecap territory. Sampson off the chest, and a square ball to Alderson. Alderson looking up, floating out to the near side for Mane. A little header forward, and you saw what he wanted to do, and Maddox said, I'm not going to get there now.
Gassed.
I got to go to play for Jamaica. I'm going to let that one run.
But all kidding aside, Carl Robinson will be delighted with his work rate, his attitude. Come back and won 2 or 3 balls, as well as some good play going forward. Both him and Mane showing fantastic here coming on in the second half.
Wondolowski chips forward. Can Garza get onto the end of this? Sent it into the middle, and there was Mitchell to retrieve before it's floated out to this near side for Mane. Heads it forward beautifully, and Hardin will be back for it as he plays it into Hernandez. And Marco Bustos almost got to the end of that. It slips free again. You want to see if the Whitecaps can get maybe one more. Great turn by Kofi. Picks out Mane. Is there a third for the Whitecaps? Mane in the box, top of the area. Maddox turns as he got an outlet. Tried to slip it in for Bustos. Referee has a look at his watch, blows the full-time whistle. The Whitecaps will go into Saturday's final with Portland with 2 wins under their belt, and they may have won the tournament by then already, depending on other results. Vancouver Whitecaps 2, San Jose Earthquakes 0 on goals by Kenny Miller and Darren Maddox from the penalty spot. And the kids, David Norman, the kids are all right.
Oh, we talked about this before the game. Let's start with one Marcos Bustos, who came into this game, has had been in and out of training camp because they're still getting him games, quality games at the USSDA level. And he's still doing a little bit of training with residency, so he hasn't fully graduated. And don't forget, his full graduation is not till the end of next June from the USSDA. But he came in and absolutely, not only did he not look out of place, he led the charge in many cases. He worked hard. One of the challenges I think he had coming into this season, Pete, to prove that he could play at this level was his work rate off the ball. We talked about how great he is at finding little pockets and working hard to get the ball. It was his work rate off the ball that he was challenged with. And you saw tonight, you mentioned it yourself, not afraid to get involved, not afraid to get in there. Then again, assistant coach Gordon Forrest giving him a nice little hug there, saying well done. And you know, we start with him, and he is absolutely the epitome of what you can do when you build your own residency.
Very, very encouraging signs from what looked to be a Whitecaps depth squad here, but now you're starting to see competition in all places, and of course there are more reinforcements coming in, we are told, before perhaps the weekend is even over. We thank you for watching on whitecapsfc.com, and we will carry on Team 1410 with a brief post-match show from Portland. The final score, Whitecaps 2, San Jose Earthquakes 0. This is Bell, Whitecaps preseason soccer from the Rose City Invitational on Team 1410.